Welcome to Earthenkind Quests. My name is Mike. In this episode of Nemesis Battles, a Mooned Druid and a Stars Druid battle against each other. The two characters are at level 8, using the rules in the 2024 Player's Handbook of Dungeons & Dragons. The heart of an ancient and mysterious dragon has been unsealed from its arcane tomb, and the magical potency begins to mutate the surrounding natural world. The two Druids investigate. The Moon Druid proposes to allow the dragon's heart energy to seep out as part of nature, while the Stars Druid proposes to intervene to stop the dragon's heart from corrupting the natural world. As they have done throughout their lives together, the Moon Druid and the Stars Druid decide to duel against each other as their way of exploring their different viewpoints and working toward a mutually agreeable course of action. As with all of the episodes of Nemesis Battles, I will clarify about what happens in the story and in the game mechanics while demonstrating in the 3D world builder and virtual tabletop system of RPG stories. For extra details about the characters, in the video text description you can see the web links for the character sheets in D&D Beyond. As you might expect, the two druids share some of their basic aspects in common with each other, yet they are different mechanically and thematically. The Wood Elf, Circle of the Moon Druid, is named Aluna Silverstream. As a Moon Druid, her primary feature involves the enhancements to the druidic wild shape, with more powerful forms and access to spellcasting that can augment a wild shape beast, especially during combat. Aluna Silverstream feels more comfortable with wildlife animals than with people, with the one exception of her lifelong friend Stellard Brightpath. The Silver Dragonborn Circle of the Stars Druid is named Stellard Brightpath. As a Stars Druid, his primary feature involves transforming into a starry form, with 3 options for ranged combat, extra healing, or mental fortitude. The Silver Dragonborn heritage manifests not so much physically, but rather in terms of Stellard Brightpath's relationship with the sky and the stars. The two druids have known each other throughout their lives, and now they both are at level 8. They share the same devotion about protecting the natural world, yet they disagree fundamentally about how to act. The Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, prefers a passive approach to allow nature to run its course on its own. The Stars Druid, Stellard Brightpath, prefers an active approach to guide the natural world toward a healthy direction. Typically, they start their debates with a duel against each other as their way of reminding each other about their different sides of nature that they represent. Today, the two druids travel through a region of farmlands, known for producing the food supplies for the nearby Spellsword Academy. The local farmers are concerned about a sudden problem with their crops. Somehow this morning the crops appeared to be unhealthy, and the animals became nervous. The local farmers are worried. In this moment, a wandering hunter approaches from the wilderness, reporting about something unusual in the adjacent swampland, specifically in the place where long ago the Spellsword Academy created a tomb to contain the heart of a particularly hideous and dangerous dragon. In this place, the wandering hunter noticed an eerie magical glow. The hunter suspects that the tomb of the dragon's heart has been opened. Now the magical energy is seeping into the water and the soils, contaminating and mutating everything that it touches. More of the local farmers gather together to share their distress about this situation. This year's crops probably will fail, and the farmers cannot provide the usual food supply for the Spellsword Academy. The next year's crops could be in danger as well. The Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, and the Stars Druid, Stellard Brightpath, feel compelled to investigate what the wandering hunter mentioned in the nearby swampland. The hunter points to the general direction and warns the two druids that the dragon's heart produces an intense energy. Even just to approach the area could be deadly. With this revelation, the local farmers grow even more distressed. If the threat of the dragon's heart cannot be stopped, then they will need to abandon their farms and their homes, seeking a new life elsewhere. The two druids prepare to travel into the swamp to investigate. The wandering hunter moves to a secluded spot. The appearance of the hunter is only a superficial illusion. The true form of this person is the Fiend Warlock Belade Burns, recently advancing up to level 15. The Warlock is using her Eldritch invocation of the Mask of Many Faces to cast Disguise Self without using a spell slot. The spell lasts for 1 hour, and therefore periodically the Warlock needs to find a safe spot such as here to end the spell and possibly recast it at least once per hour. The Warlock Belade Burns is pleased with her progress so far, gradually influencing public opinions against her enemies at the Spellsword Academy. Last night, Bellied Burns entered into the swampland and broke the magical containment of the tomb holding the dragon's heart. Her plot is proceeding as planned. Even if the Moon Druid and the Stars Druid will interfere here today, then still the Warlock's plot already has been set into motion. Within the nearby swampland, the Moon Druid Aluna Silverstream and the Stars Druid Stellar Brightpath observe what the Wandering Hunter had mentioned. An eerie glow of energy surges out from a place with stonework ruins, apparently containing the tomb of the dragon's heart. Aluna Silverstream and Stellar Brightpath can feel the power of the dragon's heart, no longer sealed within its tomb, reaching out to drain the life force of everything that it touches. Every creature entering into here will suffer necrotic damage and possibly gain a level of exhaustion, repeated after every 10 minutes of exposure. Whenever a creature of the plant type or beast type will die in here, then it will mutate into another form. If the Druids will want to learn more details about what is happening here, then they would need to enter into the dangerous zone to investigate more closely. Given the extreme dangers of this place, Aluna Silverstream and Stellar Brightpath stay safely outside the emanation of the Dragonheart energy, at least for now, until they can decide what to do next. The Moon Druid Aluna Silverstream considers that the Dragonheart is an important part of the natural world, and therefore it should be left alone here, trusting that the powers of nature will find the best way to adapt. The Stars Druid Stellar Brightpath considers that the necrotic energy and the apparent mutations could damage the natural world, and therefore an intervention will be necessary in order to restore the balance of nature. As they have done many times, the Moon Druid and the Stars Druid decide to duel against each other, as their way of demonstrating the powers of their different perspectives and working toward the most agreeable decision about allowing nature to proceed on its own versus intervening on the behalf of nature. The two Druids roll for initiative. The Moon Druid rolls 6, the Stars Druid rolls 14. The Stars Druid will act first, followed by the Moon Druid. In round 1, the Stars Druid Stellar Brightpath knows that his opponent probably will activate the Fount of Moonlight spell and thereby gain resistance to radiant damage. In this case, the Stars Druid decides to attack with radiant damage now, while this approach still can be most effective. As his action, Stellar Brightpath consults with his star map, and he uses the map to cast Guiding Bolt without using a spell slot. The attack roll is 19, hitting against the Moon Druid's armor class of 15. The Guiding Bolt causes 13 radiant damage, and it grants advantage on the next attack roll against this target. As a bonus action, the Stars Druid activates his Starry form in the form of the Archer, granting 1 ranged attack roll now, and during subsequent turns again as a bonus action. With advantage due to the prior Guiding Bolt, the Archer attack roll is a natural 20, scoring a critical hit. The damage dice are doubled, producing 16 radiant damage. Stellar Brightpath moves into a position farther away from his opponent and away from the swampy water. The Circle of the Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, starts her turn with 54 of her total 83 hit points. As her action, the Moon Druid casts the spell Fount of Moonlight, using a 4th level spell slot. During the next 10 minutes with concentration, the Moon Druid gains resistance to radiant damage, thereby diminishing her opponent's primary mode of attack as a Stars Druid. Additionally, the Moon Druid can add 2d6 radiant damage to all of her melee attacks. Notably, the Fount of Moonlight, as well as any other concentration spell, can continue throughout a Druidic wild shape. After using her action to cast Fount of Moonlight, Aluna Silverstream cannot attack during this turn. She can, though, use her bonus action to transform herself into her Druidic wild shape. She shifts into the form of a dire wolf, described as a large beast of challenge rating 1 in the 2025 Monster Manual. Some modifications apply with the Druidic wild shape, and the special features of being a Moon Druid. In the form of a dire wolf, Aluna Silverstream gains an armor class of 18, 24 temporary hit points, and a bonus to her Constitution saving throws, such as when trying to maintain concentration on her Fount of Moonlight spell. Other details apply, and I will clarify whenever they might become relevant. The dire wolf can move up to 50 feet. It ends its turn in melee contact with the Stars Druid. In round 2, the Circle of the Stars Druid Stellar Brightpath considers how to break his opponent's concentration on the Fount of Moonlight spell. The Stars Druid steps away from the dire wolf, provoking an opportunity attack. The dire wolf's bite attack roll is 10, missing against the armor class of 14. After avoiding the bite attack, the Stars Druid continues to move away. In this new position, as his action, the Stars Druid casts Sleet Storm with a 3rd level spell slot. During the next 1 minute, the Stars Druid can concentrate on creating a column filled with sleet. The affected area is difficult terrain, slowing movement inside there. It also is heavily obscured, imposing the blinded condition. The Moon Druid attempts the dexterity saving throw to avoid the worst parts of the sleet storm. Using the Dire Wolf's saving throw bonus, a result of 5 fails. The Dire Wolf is knocked prone inside the sleet storm. As another special feature of the Sleet Storm spell, the Moon Druid automatically loses her concentration on the Fount of Moonlight spell. As a bonus action, Stellar Brightpath activates his Draconic Flight, gaining a flying speed of 30 feet. He can do so only once per long rest as a Dragonborn. He already used his full movement during this turn, but he wants to prepare in advance for his next turns. The Circle of the Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, starts her turn by using half of the Dire Wolf's 50 feet of movement to stand up from the prone condition. The area of the Sleet Storm is difficult terrain, and the Dire Wolf's remaining 25 feet of movement will reach only 12 feet farther and not far enough to exit and escape from the difficult terrain. Furthermore, the heavily obscured area imposes more problems with the blinded condition. In this case, the Moon Druid uses a bonus action to end her wild shape and therefore gain access to more of her spellcasting. As a Moon Druid, a few spells are available during a wild shape, but right now Aluna Silverstream wants to use her action to cast Dispel Magic with a 3rd level spell slot. The Sleet Storm is another 3rd level spell slot, and automatically it is dispelled. Using the remaining half of her movement in her natural form as a Wood Elf, the Moon Druid moves closer to her opponent. Technically, she retains the 24 temporary hit points from her wild shape. In round 3, the Circle of the Stars Druid Stellar Brightpath dismisses his starry form as an archer, without any formal action required. As a bonus action, the Star Druid activates a different starry form, now with the option of the Dragon for extra mental fortitude. When rolling an Intelligence or Wisdom ability check, or when rolling a Constitution saving throw for concentration on a spell, then the Stars Druid can treat any roll of a 9 or lower on the d20 as if it were a 10, plus the applicable modifier. Stellar Brightpath uses the flying speed of his draconic wings to fly farther away from his opponent. He summons the spirit of a storm cloud. As an action, the Stars Druid casts the spell Summon Elemental, using a 4th level spell slot. In the game mechanics, the Stars Druid summons an elemental spirit with the Air Elemental option. During the next 10 minutes with concentration, the Stars Druid can command the elemental spirit. The Spirit of Elemental Air gains an armor class of 15, 40 hit points, and a fly speed of 40 feet with hover. The elemental spirit can make 2 slam attacks that produce lightning damage. This summoned spirit acts immediately after the Stars Druid. Stellar Brightpath commands the Storm Cloud to attack the Moon Druid. The summoned Storm Cloud moves into melee contact with the Moon Druid. It obeys the command to make its 2 slam attacks. The first attack roll of 17 hits against the Druid's armor class of 15. The slam causes 13 lightning damage. The second slam attack roll is a natural 1, indicating a critical miss. The Circle of the Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, starts her turn with 54 of her total 83 hit points, plus 11 temporary hit points remaining from her previous Druidic wild shape. She uses a bonus action to enter into another Druidic wild shape. She shifts into the form of a giant constrictor snake. She gains an armor class of 18, a new set of 24 temporary hit points to replace the previous amount remaining, and a bonus to her Constitution saving throws. The snake moves around the summoned elemental spirit of the storm cloud without exiting the reach for an opportunity attack. With the huge size of the giant constrictor snake and its 10-foot reach, it can move close enough to attack the Stars Druid. The giant constrictor snake makes its bite attack. An attack roll of 18 hits against the armor class of 14. The bite produces 10 piercing damage. The Moon Druid's elemental fury adds 6 fire damage. With the damage, the Stars Druid needs to roll a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned elemental, and results of 22 succeeds. Even so, with the mental fortitude of the starry form of a dragon, the Moon Druid always could achieve a minimum result of 12 for an automatic success in this case. The snake can use its Constrict feature against any target within 10 feet. In this case, the Stars Druid rolls a Strength saving throw to avoid being constricted. A result of 14 meets the target of the saving throw. With this unexpectedly lucky maneuver, the Stars Druid avoids the Constrict feature, he avoids the bludgeoning damage, and the grappled condition. In round 4, the Circle of the Stars Druid, Stellar Brightpath, starts his turn with 59 of his total 75 hit points. As a bonus action, he casts Misty Step without using his spell slot, instead using his Fey Touched feat. He teleports 30 feet away without provoking an opportunity attack from the giant constrictor snake. Stellar Brightpath uses the fly speed of his Draconic Wings feature to fly 30 feet upwards, aiming to prevent any further contact with the giant constrictor snake. As an action, the Stars Druid uses his star map to cast Guiding Bolt, sending a bolt of radiant energy at the snake. The attack roll of 18 hits against the Wild Shape armor class of 18. The Guiding Bolt generates 21 radiant damage, and the next attack roll against this target will gain advantage. Stellar Brightpath commands the summoned elemental Spirit of Air to make its 2 slam attacks against the giant constrictor snake. With the advantage from the prior Guiding Bolt, the first attack roll is 26, hitting against the Wild Shape armor class of 18. The attack causes 10 lightning damage. The second slam attack roll is 11, missing the target. The Circle of the Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, currently is in the Wild Shape form of a giant constrictor snake. She has lost the temporary hit points of her Wild Shape feature, and now she retains 47 of her total 75 hit points. As an action, the Moon Druid casts the spell Conjure Animals, upcasting with a 4th level spell slot. A Moon Druid can cast this spell during a Wild Shape. The 2024 version of Conjure Animals creates a pack of spirit animals, occupying a large space and generating an emanation in the surrounding 10 feet. Whenever the Moon Druid moves during her turn, then she can move the Conjured Animal pack up to 30 feet. Whenever the 10-foot emanation of the pack enters into the space of another creature, or whenever another creature ends its turn inside the emanation, then the affected creature suffers 4d10 slashing damage due to the 4th level upcasting, potentially reduced by half with a dexterity saving throw. Now in the form of a giant constrictor snake, the Moon Druid moves slightly around the elemental air spirit, without provoking an opportunity attack. The slight movement does allow for the Conjured Animals pack to move and to slash at the Flying Stars Druid. Stellar Brightpath rolls a dexterity saving throw. A result of 8 fails. The Spirit Pack delivers the full amount of 17 slashing damage. Due to the starry form of the dragon, the Stars Druid cannot fail the Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on the Summon Elemental spell. In round 5, the Circle of the Stars Druid Stellar Brightpath starts his turn with 42 of his total 75 hit points. As an action, Stellar Brightpath casts Dispel Magic, aiming to dispel the conjured pack of spirit animals. He casts the spell with a 3rd level spell slot, requiring a spellcasting ability check of at least 14 to dispel the conjured animal spell that was cast with a 4th level spell slot. The initial roll here would be insufficient to succeed. With the current starry form of the dragon, however, any wisdom ability check of 9 or lower automatically becomes a 10, plus the wisdom modifier of 5, for a minimum of 15 that cannot fail against the target check of 14. The conjured animal spell is dispelled. Stellar Brightpath flies another 30 feet upward. At this point, the 2 druids both declare that they have done enough to demonstrate their powers to each other, and now they can consider more seriously about their different perspectives about what to do with the current situation of the dragon heart, evidently set free from its tomb and now seeping its energy into the surrounding area. The Moon Druid, Aluna Silverstream, admits that perhaps she was too strong in her opinion of allowing the dragon heart energy to flow out as part of nature. Maybe a limited form of intervention could be suitable, working toward a healthy balance of nature. The Stars Druid, Stellar Brightpath, admits that perhaps he was too strong in his opinion of wanting to intervene to stop the energy flow of the dragon's heart. Maybe this energy is too powerful to be stopped, and instead the natural world around this place could be fortified. The 2 druids discuss a potential compromise and a plan of action. For now, they agree to alert the nearby wildlife animals and the local farming communities to stay away from this place until a proper solution can be developed. Later in the day, the local farmers confront the real possibility of needing to abandon their farms and their homes, instead moving to seek new lives elsewhere. The Wandering Hunter mentions about an area of healthy lands a few days of travel away from here. The location is farther away from the Spellsword Academy, and therefore the Academy will face difficulties of obtaining a reliable food supply. Nonetheless, the farmers and their families could prosper in these other lands. Nobody lived there for a long time, but recently the Wandering Hunter saw a wondrous mansion, like nothing ever seen in this world. Perhaps it is a magical place. Our story will continue with Nemesis Battles. For now, in the comment section, please share your ideas and suggestions about what could have happened differently and what could happen next. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.